Friends, this is the story of a 22-year-old beautiful and young widow, Sheriff Officer Amanda Williams. Her husband died in a tragic car accident. On the advice of her best friend, she hired a 14-year-old boy as a house helper. Over time, Amanda noticed that the boy's words, habits, and little gestures reminded her of her late husband. That's why Amanda slowly began to feel drawn to him. One night, around 1 a.m., Amanda called the boy into her bedroom. What happened afterward was something many people secretly wish for, but only a few ever experience. It was as if fate had suddenly handed the boy the master key of destiny. Now he no longer worried about money, nor did he long for companionship. Every desire of his began to be fulfilled, and wealth started flowing into his life without effort. But what was it about this young boy that made Sheriff Amanda give him everything he wanted? To know that, you must follow the story till the end. Friends, on the outskirts of Dallas, Texas, stood an old colonial-style mansion. A huge, weather-beaten oak tree shaded the front yard, its branches whispering in the night breeze. The wooden doors creaked with age, and the cracked walls carried the scars of time. The silence of that mansion told its own story of loneliness, and in that lonely, quiet house lived Sheriff Amanda Williams. At only 22 years old, she was known throughout the county for her intelligence, determination, and strict sense of justice. Her eyes carried the spark of law and order, and her face had a charm that made people pause when they looked at her. But 3 years earlier, during a dangerous police operation, her husband, Deputy Chief Michael Williams, was killed in the line of duty. Michael was an honest, fearless officer, and his death ripped away the light from Amanda's life. She buried her pain deep inside and threw herself into her work, becoming the youngest and toughest sheriff in the county. Amanda lived alone in that massive mansion. Her parents often urged her to move into a comfortable city apartment in Houston, but Amanda refused. That old house, despite its haunting silence, had become her world. Every wall and every room of the house carried memories of Michael, and that was the reason Amanda never wanted to leave it. Each morning, she put on her sheriff's uniform and headed to the station. Her days were spent buried in case files and investigations, and by late night she returned home exhausted. But the moment she stepped inside the mansion, the deep silence pressed heavily on her heart. One evening, as Amanda stood by the window watching the storm clouds roll in, her old friend Detective Priya Carter came to visit. Over a cup of coffee, Priya said seriously, "Amanda, you really should think about hiring some help. Someone to take care of the house and maybe even ease your loneliness a little." She smiled and added, "The house will stay in order and your heart will feel lighter." At first Amanda refused, but after Priya's repeated insistence, she finally gave in. A few days later, one afternoon, Priya herself brought a boy over to Amanda's mansion. He was 14 years old, slender, but with a quiet strength in his frame, bright eyes, and an innocent yet confident smile. His name was Ethan. As soon as he arrived, he politely greeted Amanda and then stood quietly in the front yard. On his feet were worn-out sneakers, in his hand a small cloth bag. But in his eyes there was a strange calmness, as if this place wasn't unfamiliar to him at all. Amanda decided to keep him. From that day, Ethan began cooking meals, cleaning the house, tending the garden, and handling other small chores. But something about him always struck Amanda as unusual. He worked with such precision and care, as though he had belonged to that house for years. The strangest part was the way he made coffee. Its aroma and taste were exactly like Michael's favorite brew. At first, Amanda brushed it off as coincidence, but over time, Ethan's little habits began to startle her, like how he arranged her favorite books on the shelf, in the very same way Michael once used to. One night, Amanda wrote something in her diary, but the next morning, when she opened it, she found the diary already turned to the exact page she had written on, as if someone had read it. During the night, a disturbing question began to stir in her mind. Was this boy really just an ordinary helper, or was there a bigger secret hidden behind him? One stormy night, when Amanda was returning from the sheriff's office, the heavy rain and strong winds caused the power in the mansion to go out. She unlocked the front door with her flashlight, only to find Ethan already standing there, holding candles as if he had known the exact moment she would arrive. looking at her dripping wet clothes. Ethan said softly, "Ma'am, you're completely soaked. Let me make you some coffee." Amanda looked into his eyes, those same deep, shining eyes that once belonged to Michael. For a moment, her heart skipped a beat. Pulling herself together, she spoke sternly, "Ethan, you want to tell me something, don't you? Be honest, what is going on?" Ethan lowered his gaze for a second, then gave a faint smile. "Ma'am, I'm just your houseboy. Don't worry. I'll bring the coffee right away." The next day, Amanda called Priya Carter to the mansion. Holding a cup of coffee in her hands, she confessed, "Priya, I don't think Ethan is an ordinary boy. His actions, the way he makes coffee, even the way he speaks, it all keeps reminding me of Michael. Am I losing my mind?" Priya tried to brush it off with a laugh, but Amanda's suspicions had already taken root. "Priya, I want you to run a full background check on Ethan. I need to know the truth." A few days later, Priya returned with the report. "Amanda, there's nothing unusual in his papers. His ID and documents check out, but there's no record of his life before that. It's as if he just appeared out of nowhere." Priya added, "It's possible he really is just a regular kid. But if you still feel uneasy, we can dig deeper." Amanda nodded, but her heart grew heavier with doubt. That night, she sat in her bedroom, looking through old photographs. In one of them, she and Michael were smiling on their wedding day. Michael had gifted all his close friends a special ring engraved with tiny letters inside. Amanda always kept his own ring tucked safely in a secret pocket of her diary. But when she opened the diary, the ring was gone. Her breath caught in her throat. How could it be missing? Had Ethan taken it? Or was someone else secretly coming and going inside the mansion? Amanda's mind went blank with fear and suspicion. The next evening, she called Ethan into the living room. Her voice was sharp. "Ethan, a ring has gone missing from my diary. Do you know anything about it?" With a calmness that startled her, Ethan replied, "Ma'am, I didn't take anything. But if something precious of yours is missing, tell me what it looks like. I'll help you find it." There was a strange sincerity in his voice. Yet Amanda's suspicion didn't ease, not even a little. That same night, Amanda's phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. "Amanda, you're asking too many questions. Leave Ethan alone or your badge and your life will both be in danger." Her face turned pale. It was a threat and Ethan's name was written clearly in it. Was Ethan truly a danger, or was someone else trying to scare her away? Amanda immediately called Detective Priya Carter and told her about the message. Priya's voice sharpened. "Amanda, this is serious. I'll send a team right away. Until then, keep a close eye on Ethan." But Amanda's mind was spiraling. Again and again, Michael's face appeared before her eyes. The way Ethan walked, the way he spoke, the way his eyes carried that same depth that all pulled her into a storm of doubt. Could Ethan really be Michael, or was this just her grief-twisting reality? The next morning, Amanda stepped into the garden. There was Ethan, watering the plants in the warm sunlight. That's when she froze. On his left hand gleamed an old ring, the very same design Michael had once gifted on their wedding day. Her heartbeat thundered in her chest. Could it be the missing ring? She called out sharply, "Ethan, where did you get that ring?" Ethan looked up slowly, then gave a faint smile. "Ma'am, this belonged to my mother. Just an old memory of hers." But in his eyes, there was a strange light, a shimmer Amanda knew all too well. The same spark that once lived in Michael's eyes. Amanda's thoughts crashed into chaos. Was this boy just an ordinary helper? Or was he a living shadow of the man she had loved and lost? And if so, who had sent that threatening message? Amanda was determined to uncover Ethan's secret. Who was this boy really, and could he possibly have any connection to Michael's death? But she also knew one wrong move could cost her life. That ring had deepened her suspicions. Was it truly a keepsake from Ethan's mother, or was it the same ring Michael had given her years ago? Amanda resolved to watch him silently, without rushing into action. Her police training kept warning her, stay cautious, stay sharp, and yet, a quiet part of her heart couldn't stop searching for Michael's reflection in Ethan's eyes. The next morning, Amanda sat in her office as Detective Priya Carter handed her a preliminary background report on Ethan. "His record looks clean," Priya began, "but there's something strange. His social security card and documents are only 2 years old. Before that, nothing. No school record, no family record. It's like he just appeared out of nowhere. Amanda listened silently, her eyes drifting toward an old file lying on her desk, the file connected to Michael's so-called death. Slowly, she whispered, "Priya, hand me that file. There might be something I overlooked." That night, when Amanda returned to the mansion, Ethan was busy in the kitchen. Seeing her, he smiled warmly. "Ma'am, I made your favorite tonight, Red. Beans and rice." Amanda's heartbeat quickened. That dish, it was Michael's favorite. She looked at Ethan carefully but said nothing. During dinner, Amanda cautiously asked Ethan, "Where did you live before this? Tell me about your family." Ethan set down his spoon and spoke softly. "There's nothing much to tell. I grew up in a small town. My parents died when I was little. Since then, I've been on my own." There was pain in his voice, but Amanda felt he was hiding something. She let the conversation end there, but in her mind she made a firm decision. She would uncover Ethan's true identity at any cost. That night, Amanda reopened Michael's case file. According to the report, Michael had been part of a high-profile federal operation, but his body was never recovered. Authorities had assumed he was dead, yet Amanda had always felt something about his death was far from ordinary. Then she noticed a chilling detail in the file. The report mentioned that someone else had been present during that operation. His testimony was incomplete. His name wasn't listed, only a code name, Shadow. Amanda's mind buzzed. Could Ethan be connected to Shadow? Or was Ethan something far more impossible? Could Ethan be Shadow, or was he hiding an even bigger secret? Amanda immediately called Detective Priya Carter. "Priya, find out everything about the witness codenamed Shadow in Michael's case. I want every detail." The next day, Amanda was busy at her office when Priya sent an old photograph. It was from Michael's police academy days, showing him standing alongside his fellow trainees. But one face in the picture made Amanda's heart skip a beat. It looked startlingly like Ethan. Her pulse raced. Could it really be him? Or was it just an illusion of the eyes? That evening, Amanda returned home and saw Ethan watering the plants in the garden. She stepped closer, holding the photo, and asked, "Is this you?" For a moment, Ethan's face hardened. Then he gave a faint, nervous smile. "Ma'am, that's not me. Maybe it's someone who just looks like me." But in his eyes, Amanda saw a flicker of fear, something he could not hide. Later that night, her phone buzzed again with a message from an unknown number. "Amanda, you're getting too close. Leave Shadow alone or your mansion will become your grave." A shiver ran through her. Shadow, the same codename from the file. Now the question was, what was the connection between Ethan and Shadow? And could Ethan actually be Michael? Amanda immediately called her friend Mira and showed her the threatening message. Mira spoke gravely. "Amanda, they want to scare you. But if Ethan really is Shadow, then he's hiding a huge secret. We need to put pressure on him." Amanda replied slowly, "No, Mira, if Ethan is actually Michael, I don't want to frighten him. And if he's someone else, we need solid proof first." The next morning, Amanda called Ethan into the mansion's living room. Her voice was firm. "Ethan, there's no more need to hide. Tell me clearly, are you Shadow?" "No." "And how do you know Rahul?" Ethan looked into her eyes for a moment, then lowered his head. "Ma'am, you're mistaken. I'm not Shadow. I'm just your houseboy." But Amanda noticed a slight tremor in his voice. "Friends, people from many countries watch our videos. But if you believe that Allah is the creator, then please give a like to this video and let us know in the comments which country you are watching from." At that moment, a loud knock came at the mansion door. Amanda went to open it and found Mira standing there, holding a file. She handed it over to Amanda. "You need to see this. This is Shadow's file." Amanda opened the file, and the first photograph made her heart stop. It was Ethan's picture. He stood silently, eyes carrying an unusual sadness. Amanda took a deep breath. "Ethan, no more lies. Who are you, and what happened with Rahul?" Ethan exhaled slowly and said quietly, "Ma'am, I'll tell you everything, but first, you have to come with me." He gestured toward the back of the mansion, where an old storage room stood. Amanda's heart pounded. Could Ethan really be Rahul, or was this an elaborate trap? There was something in his words that both frightened her and ignited a desperate need to know the truth. Amanda glanced at Mira, who was silently flipping through the file's pages. Mira spoke firmly. "Amanda, don't go alone. I'll come with you." Amanda shook her head slightly. "No, Mira, I have to trust Ethan. If he really is Shadow, he might be the only one who can reveal Rahul's truth. You wait outside, and if anything goes wrong, follow my signal." Friends, if you want to see more interesting videos like this, then subscribe to our End Moral Story channel right now. Reluctantly, Mira nodded, her hand resting on her gun as she watched Ethan, whose face now held not fear, but a strange quiet. "Paina, let's go," Amanda said, following Ethan toward the old storage room at the back of the mansion. The wooden walls, broken windows, and dust-laden air seemed to whisper years of loneliness and secrets. Ethan stepped over some debris, unlocked the rusty door, and pushed it open. Inside, the air was thick with dust, dirt, and the smell of decay. He pulled a small flashlight from his pocket and pointed toward a corner. "Ma'am, this way," he said, leading her to an old wooden crate. Amanda stepped cautiously, one hand resting on her service revolver. Ethan opened the crate. Inside were old documents, a dusty laptop, and a small locked box. He slid the box toward Amanda. "Open this, everything you need to know. Your whole truth is inside." Amanda hesitated, her hand hovering over the box, heart racing, knowing that whatever lay inside could change everything. Amanda took the box in her hands. Its lock was secured with a password. "What's the password?" she asked. Ethan's voice was calm but low. "The date of your wedding with Michael." Amanda's heart skipped a beat. Hands trembling, she entered the password, May 16th, 21. The lock clicked open. Inside lay a diary with Michael's name on it. Amanda opened it carefully. The handwriting was unmistakably his. The pages revealed that Michael had been investigating a massive drug and weapons racket, implicating high-ranking police officers and influential businessmen. On the last page, a message was written: "If anything happens to me, tell Shyambhav that I always loved him. Shadow will protect my truth." Amanda's eyes welled with tears. She looked at Ethan, who stood silently, watching. "Ethan, you are Shadow, aren't you? And you knew Michael. Why didn't you tell me earlier?" Her voice trembled with a mix of anger and fear. Ethan took a deep breath. "Ma'am, I am Shadow. I was Michael's junior, the night of the warehouse explosion. I was there. He told me everything, his plan, his mission. If something happened to him, I had to protect his truth, but I couldn't save him." His voice quivered as Amanda clutched the diary to her chest. Michael was really gone. Tears streamed down her face. Ethan lowered his head. "Ma'am, after that night, there was no trace of Michael, but I heard the racket members still fear he might be alive. That's why I came to you. Started working in your mansion to protect you." Amanda's mind raced. If Ethan really was Shadow, perhaps he was telling the truth. But Michael's shadow in Ethan's eyes and the mystery of the ring were still unsolved. Suddenly, a loud crash came from outside the storage room, glass shattering. Both Amanda and Ethan drew their revolvers. Amanda signaled Ethan to stay back. A voice called from outside, "Amanda, step outside. Is anyone there?" They rushed out into the garden. A figure stood there, clad in a black hoodie, a gleaming knife in hand. Mira had her gun drawn, ready to fire. But then, as if swallowed by smoke, the figure vanished. Amanda glared at Ethan. "What was that? Did you lure me into a trap?" Ethan quickly said, "Ma'am, trust me. These are the same people who killed Michael. Now they're after you because you have the diary." Mira grabbed Amanda's arm. "Amanda, don't take any more risks. I'll take the diary back to headquarters. You and Ethan come with me." Amanda's voice was firm. "No. Mira, if Ethan is telling the truth, I need to expose this racket for Michael." That night, a new message appeared on Amanda's phone from an unknown number. "Amanda, you've seen the diary. Your time is running out. Come alone to the old warehouse at 1 a.m. tomorrow night." Amanda's heart filled with anger and pain. That was the very warehouse where Michael had died. Was this her last chance at the truth, or another deadly trap? She showed the message to Ethan, her resolve hardening. Whatever happened tomorrow night, She would uncover the truth no matter the danger. Ethan's voice was serious. Amanda, these people wanted to finish you. But if you insist on going, I'll go with you. Amanda looked into his eyes and saw the same fire, the same relentless determination she had seen in Michael. She nodded slowly. All right, Ethan. But if you betray me, she left the sentence unfinished, her mind already steeling for what was to come. Her heart raced as they approached the old warehouse. Just hearing its name brought back memories of Michael, but also a burning need to expose the racket that had destroyed her life. She still had her doubts about Ethan, but the truth in his eyes, the way he moved like Michael, kept her moving forward. She sent strict instructions to Mira. You and your team stay hidden around the warehouse. Don't make a move until I give the signal. At 12:45 a.m., Amanda and Ethan stepped into the drizzling night toward the warehouse. The air was thick with a quiet, eerie tension. Amanda's service revolver rested snugly at her waist. Ethan carried a small knife dot as they reached the broken gate. Amanda whispered, "If this is a trap, Ethan, you'll answer for it." Ethan looked at her with unwavering seriousness. "Ma'am, I'm with you. Nothing will happen to you, no matter what." His voice carried a warmth and intensity that reminded Amanda of Michael. Inside, the warehouse was pitch dark, save for a dim lantern flickering in the corner. They advanced slowly toward it. Suddenly, a cold, deep voice echoed, "Amanda Chon, you're very stubborn." A tall figure stepped out of the shadows, his face hidden behind a black mask. Behind him, two men held guns, their eyes fixed on Amanda and Ethan. Amanda immediately drew her revolver, her voice firm. "Who are you? What happened to Michael?" The masked man laughed harshly. "Michael, he was a mistake that got in our way, and now you're making the same mistake." He pulled a small device from his pocket. "This contains all the data Michael stole: drugs, weapons, every one of our operations. But now it's back in our hands, and you're just going to become another story." Amanda's blood boiled. She glanced at Ethan, who stood silently, eyes locked on the masked man. Suddenly, Ethan hurled his knife with all his strength. It flew straight toward the masked man. The knife struck the masked man's hand, and the device fell to the ground. The masked man screamed in pain, and his two accomplices raised their guns toward Amanda. Before they could fire, the warehouse was stormed from outside. Gunshots rang out. In a matter of minutes, both of the masked man's partners were down. The masked man tried to flee, but Ethan lunged and grabbed him. Amanda stepped forward and yanked off the mask, revealing a familiar face. It was Victor Simmons, a retired deputy inspector general and Michael's former senior. Amanda's face showed both shock and anger. Victor smirked slightly. "Amanda, you and Michael were always stubborn. I warned him, Ollie warned him, but neither of you backed down." He bent down to pick up the device from the ground, but Amanda kicked it away immediately. Ethan looked around and said, "Ma'am, the time has come." He pulled a small pendant from his pocket. Amanda's breath caught. It was the same pendant she had given Michael on their first anniversary. Her eyes widened. "Ethan, are you Michael?" Ethan-Michael nodded slowly. "Yes, I'm Michael. That night in the warehouse, I survived. But I knew if I revealed myself, they would target you. So I faked my death and became Shadow, tracking that racket all this time. As Ethan, I came close to you to keep you safe." Tears streamed down Amanda's face. With trembling hands, she hugged Michael tightly. "Why did you leave me alone? I watched you die every day." Michael looked into her eyes. "I never wanted to lose you, Amanda, but now we're together." Meanwhile, the police team handcuffed Victor. The data on the device exposed the entire criminal network. Several powerful businessmen and corrupt officers were arrested. Michael and the team revealed all the evidence to the public, and the racket was completely dismantled. Months later, Amanda and Michael sat together in an old mansion. Amanda had stepped down from her police position, and together they had started an NGO to raise awareness against corruption and crime. One morning, seated in the mansion's garden, Amanda handed Michael a cup of tea and smiled. "Your tea, it still touches my heart." Michael smiled back, and for the first time in years, peace and happiness filled their lives. So friends, This was our video for today. If you liked this video even a little, then please give it a like and subscribe to our End Moral Stories channel. Right now, we'll meet again in the next video. Until then, may our Creator Allah keep us all well and healthy. Ameen. Summa Ameen.